Jalen Rose. I'm David Jacoby. We are Jalen and Jacoby. What is it that we do?
Boss up and get the people what they want.
Welcome to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen Anthony Rose, LeBron James had a great game last night, scored 38, dunked on Kevin Love. But guess what? We're not starting with him because the Lakers are barely in the play-in. We are going to start with a Western Conference game that came down to the last second. Timberwolves, Mavs, Luka drives and gets a bucket. And then Luka kicks to the corner. Finney Smith gets a big bucket. And after some weird Pat Beverly free throw stuff, the Mavs pull away. That Reggie Bullock three from the corner was a big shot as well. Jalen, this was a collective effort, but of course with the Mavs, it all starts with Luka Doncic, doesn't it?
It definitely does. And as we talk about the Mavs and Luka's greatness, I want to just acknowledge something. Patrick Beverly, I appreciate the fact that he's an irritant, a seasoned veteran, and he's going to make your best player work on a nightly basis. And I also applaud Luka for acknowledging to himself that he's going to stop barking at the officials and do what he can to eliminate the text from his game. He already has 16. Mavs are ascending in the playoffs. They're a top 4 or 5 seed. And the Timberwolves, who have been terrific since the All-Star break. And so to watch these two teams play, who many don't consider contenders, but legit playoff teams, was a great regular season game.
It really was, and you mentioned Pat Bev, and as Pat Bev always does, he's just an irritant. He's so annoying. Even to watch, he makes me upset, and he did everything he could against Luka. So after this, he pulls up and hits a three after this steal. He's pushing Luka around, and the thing he did that really made me upset was after the game was over, after the Timberwolves lose the game, he has to go and steal the ball from Luka when there's a dead ball at the end of the game.
So there's levels to trash talk and being an irritant too. And so Luka, and I'm pretty sure hindsight is 20/20. When you irritate me, Jacoby, and you invade my personal space, and I can smell your breath, and also a little bit of your spit might be getting on me a little bit, that ain't the time to smack me on the butt. I'm not having that. I would have tried to break his wrist, literally by like trying to swat it away and grapple it away. And I'm not giving you a high five during that period of time as well. And so what may be interesting is if these two teams end up playing one another in the playoffs. D'Angelo Russell had a good game. So did Karl Anthony Towns. However, this is all about the Mavs again, and Luka being able to lift this team since they added Spencer Dinwiddie to be one of the best teams in the NBA since All-Star break.
Karl Anthony Towns did have a decent game, but I really appreciated the way Dwight Powell and this whole team tried to limit him because he didn't put up 60 on him. You know, he had 22. He didn't shoot that great from the floor night. And I thought Dwight Powell in particular did a great job on both ends of the floor. It's a team effort against Towns because Dwight Powell's not going to stop him by himself. But also, this dude was 8 for 8 from the floor. And it's not like he was ISOing guys and going past them. You'll see a lot of his buckets were just, thank you very much for giving me a dunk. But Dwight Powell did a great job on both ends of the floor. And if they're going to be successful, they're going to need him because they no longer have Kristaps Porzingis manning the middle. Jalen, let's move on to LeBron James. Everyone's talking about him. In Cleveland, he always has a big game, and last night was no different. 38 points, 11 rebounds, and 12 assists from King James. Jalen, what do you think?
Well, the Cavs, who ascended and outplayed expectations so very early in the season, have dealt with some injuries, in particular to Jared Allen. And all of a sudden, they're slowly starting to come back to the pack in the Eastern Conference, but J.B. Bickerstaff has done a terrific job with that squad. And shout out to Darius Garland, who has 17 assists. But LeBron, again, returning to Ohio is going to make sure that he put the smack down against the Cavs every chance that he gets. And not only with the triple-double, but also with the showmanship, with the flair, and for Kevin Love, with the dunk. Now, for somebody who played 4 years of high school, 3 years of college, and 13 years in the NBA, this is one of the reasons why I'm not trying to take a charge. But also, my court sense respectfully understood that either I got to get higher or get lower. He didn't do either, but I will say this. LeBron didn't jump over him. You know what this reminds me of? Blake Griffin at the dunk contest. When he kind of jumped over the car, is what people say. But yeah, he lands on the car. It's not like Hook Mitchell in the Bay Area who jumped over the car, or Sean Kemp in BC Camp in Rensselaer, Indiana, jumping over the car. But again, it's great theater for LeBron, who's invited to Kevin Love's wedding, probably uninvited at this point.
Well, Jalen, I, as you, will not celebrate this as him dunking on Kevin Love.
No.
It's time for Negative Jacoby. Jalen, there was tweets back and forth after it where Kevin Love says he's not talking to LeBron for 48 hours. LeBron says he regrets that it was Kevin Love there. LeBron said he's still hoping to get invited to the wedding. Let me say this. This was not him dunking on Kevin Love. This was not even close to a poster dunk. Kevin Love was barely taking a charge. Halfway through, when he saw what was happening, he kind of got out the way, didn't even try to take a charge. It was a great dunk from LeBron. It was athletic. He got up high. If you catch the right angle, it looks pretty bad for Kevin Love. But Negative Jacoby does not even consider this one of LeBron James' top 15 dunks of his career. This is not even close to some of his best posters of his career. This is not a poster dunk. Look at Kevin Love trying to take a charge, moves out of the way. If he doesn't fall over, no one even cares about this. That's really the problem with this whole highlight. But Jalen, when you look back at some of LeBron James' best dunks, they look a lot better than this one. Let's take a walk down memory lane and have you talk about some of these great LeBron dunks that are actually posters where he actually dunks on somebody.
Absolutely. I know Jason Terry's gonna be in there for show. You know, Tim Duncan, you know, he didn't really jump, but now that one was nasty, except nobody contested it. But again, if you notice, LeBron liked that one leg off the left,
there's Jason
jumping over. Oh, Jason Terry, watch out. He has to live with that for the rest of his life. Now, that was nasty. Now, that's dunk on. And again, if you look at the LeBron, Kevin Love, to kind of accentuate your point, Kevin Love is standing this way, right? LeBron's right knee goes past this shoulder. Just think about it. Let's let you know his right knee go past. But it's still a great dunk for somebody in their 30s. At 37 years of age, and it continues to add to the narrative of LeBron James still being competitive, even though his team isn't a contending one. That's what I appreciate. LeBron has found new motivation for this year. He's even come out and said that this is the most fun that he's having. Don't believe that. The most fun he was having was when he was talking about not 5, not 6, not 7. That's the most fun he was having. Or when he went to Cleveland and all of a sudden returns and they win the championship. That was the most fun. Now he realizes I'm box office. I'm in the GOAT conversation. I have a chance to be the NBA's all-time leading scorer. I love the game. The fans are here to watch me perform, and I'm still going to put on the show, even though the Lakers ain't winning the championship this year. I admire that.
Yeah, some tells me he had a lot more fun raising the Larry O'Brien trophy in the Finals MVP when the confetti fell down and he brought his first championship to Cleveland and he won the bubble championship. Some tells me that's a little bit more fun than barely making the play-in while leading the league in scoring. Shout out to LeBron for leading the league in scoring. Some tells me he's going to take that home by the end of the season as well. Let's move on to the NFL. Seems like every day we have a new quarterback in a new situation, and yesterday was no different. Matt Ryan has been traded to the Colts for a third-round pick. Jalen, the Falcons are taking on an enormous $40.5 million dead cap hit just to not have Matt Ryan as their quarterback. What do you think about the fit of Matt Ryan in Indy?
So, for whatever it's worth, he's trending towards being a Hall of Fame player. He's the greatest quarterback in the history of the Falcons. Once they made the Super Bowl and lost to Tom Brady and the Patriots with that epic comeback, they've been kind of dismantling this team. And then when they lost their run game, and then when you lose Julio, it lets you know that they're turning the page. So really for me, this just is a graduation of that. You don't want to have Matt Ryan with that high cap number playing on a team that's not going to make the playoffs if you're the Falcons. It seems like they got low compensation for a starting quarterback in return from the Colts, who now need a quarterback. But shout to the Colts, who continue to reinvent themselves with older quarterbacks each year. That's not really going to get you to the solution, and that's winning the AFC. But at least it aids the talent you have around you. In particular, you want to protect your all-pro running back, Jonathan Taylor, who's been terrific. And now for the Falcons, who add Marcus Mariota on a 2-year contract, it's just continual musical chairs from players that were in the NFC as the quarterback. Now they're migrating to the AFC, and Matt Ryan is another example of that.
I feel like a lot of front offices just saw what the Rams did, going all in, taking a quarterback from a distressed situation, a veteran quarterback that's got Hall of Fame numbers like Matt Stafford. This was Matt Ryan going to Indy. Hopefully, for Indianapolis, it'll have the same results. Jalen, it's time for what I really wanted to talk about all segment long, news that matters. Jalen, there are a lot of things that are just facts of life. Death, taxes, and you don't want to be on the wrong end of a Pusha T diss track. And guess who Pusha T had in his sights yesterday? He released a McDonald's Filet-O-Fish diss track on behalf of Arby's. There is some history to this, Pusha T.
And he joins us right now. Hansel, thank you so much for taking the time to join us on Jalen Jacoby.
Yeah. No problem. How you doing, guys? Good morning.
We're doing great. Now, you have blown up on social media because of all of your highlights. What did it feel like when you first started getting popular?
I don't know, say that in English, but solo voy a decir en español. Yo me siento bien orgulloso con el social media, con lo que está pasando toda mi carrera ahora mismo y todo lo que estoy viviendo conmigo, mi familia y todo lo que está pasando hacia mí y todo lo que estoy progresando y dándole gracias a Dios por todo y seguir hacia adelante y seguir trabajando.
What players in the NBA do you mirror your game after?
KD. Yeah. Me gusta KD. Me gusta todo con lo que él hace, lo admiro mucho, ¿sabes? Y me gusta su juego, su forma, y muchísimas cosas más.
Hansel, what was it like for you falling in love with basketball and people seeing you and trying to underestimate that you have game? You're a bucket now, and everybody understands because we see your highlights. But talk to us about what it was like when you first started to play basketball.
Desde que yo comencé a jugar fue un poco bien difícil en realidad porque no era la misma confianza hacia mí mismo y hasta que Dios comenzó a darme la fuerza y todo eso y seguí hacia adelante y con el apoyo de mi familia y seguí luchando hasta hoy en día donde estamos y nada, y gracias a Dios estamos aquí dándole gracias a Dios y seguir hacia adelante, seguir trabajando al próximo nivel.
What are you looking for in a college? What do you want when you go to college and play basketball?
En realidad yo no busco algo así específico, solo busco como yo llegué aquí cuando llegué a los Estados Unidos, llegar y comerme a todo el mundo, comerme a la liga y demostrar que sí se puede. Esa es la mentalidad de ahora mismo, desde como cuando yo llegué aquí, con la misma hambre que llegué aquí, el mismo sueño.
Hansel, you inspire so many people. What has it been like for you as you've become not only an internet sensation, but a terrific basketball player? What has it been like for you to inspire others?
Es una cosa bien grande, me siento bien orgulloso con eso porque muchísima gente también me inspiraba. Cada persona que yo veía me inspiraba cada día más, como mi papá, muchísimos jugadores más que yo veía alrededor mío y yo me ponía en mi mente, si ellos pueden, yo también puedo, y yo puedo hacerlo mucho mejor y seguir luchando. Y mira, gracias a Dios, donde estamos, gracias a Dios.
When you play basketball pickup and people see that you have one arm, do they try to make you go left, and do you take advantage of that?
En realidad yo no me enfoco en eso a base del juego, de lo que está la gente y todo eso. Solo me enfoco en el juego para seguir concentrado y ganar y demostrar que yo tengo el nivel y que sí se puede seguir jugando.
Hansel, you like to trash talk. I noticed that. So what was it like for you when people talk trash back at you?
So I like that because sabe, es una energía bien dura en el juego que me gusta, ¿sabe? Cuando la persona llega a ese tipo de momento y ahí me sube más la energía y ahí es que yo vengo mucho más al juego.
We will be rooting for you wherever college you go to. You're always welcome to come back on Jalen Jacoby. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Yeah, no problem. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. And feel free when you decide to pick your college, you can do it right here if you choose. We're your home.
Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
So
all W's that he can find. There he is eating W's when he was the starting quarterback for the Buccaneers. Obviously now that is Tom Brady. Jameis has had a stint with the Saints. That stint will be extended. He signed a 2-year deal to be the starting quarterback for the Saints. Will he be able to eat W's in a Saints uniform this year?
I'm as happy as anyone to see Jameis go from the Bucs to the Saints, have a winning record as a starter, and get an opportunity to do so again. He played really well. They won't have Sean Payton. Will they have Michael Thomas? We know Kamara, when he's healthy, is one of the better backs in the league. But I will say, for the quarterback that's going to touch the football basically every possession, homie need to sign a deal with hand sanitizer. Ain't nobody trying to be shaking your hand and touching the football, man, after you done licked your fingers 15, 16 different times like you just had some ribs that's falling off the bone.
Well, Jalen, sometimes on this program we like to shine a spotlight on things that we think are being undercovered by the sports media, and we want to do that every single day moving forward until the Brittany Griner situation is resolved. Why was this so important to you?
Well, I want to highlight the fact that sports is a male-dominated industry, and Brittany Griner has not only established herself as one of the best players in the WNBA, but a champion. And we know that she had some transgressions of what she was trying to take in her bag. However, she's been detained for an extremely long time in a different country. And I'm disappointed that the local media is ignoring that. If this was Joel Embiid or the Joker, we'd be talking about this every day. So Jalen and Jacoby, a small way to pay homage to Brittany Griner is to make sure we acknowledge her situation each day, in particular till she comes home.
We'll be back tomorrow, ESPN 2, 4